Well, Mape comes in to replace Professor Job Mogoro, who was recalled by the governing party last month. The former Premier had been deployed in Northwest in 2018 to replace Sukra Mohomopelo after weeks of violent protests in that province. The Northwest Legislature has 33 members. For this morning's voting, 4 EFF members did not attend the voting session. 3 members declined to participate in the process. Mape received 21 votes. The DA's Moponeng Rabotabi received 5. Well, we're joined now by Hlomane Chauke, the coordinator of the ANC's Interim Provincial Committee in Northwest, and we're joined by the political analyst Levy Ndou. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on The Pulse. Good evening to you. Mr. Chauke, if I may start with you, there are huge governance problems in Northwest. We all know that. What do you expect your new Premier to do? What do you believe should be his main priority?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to the viewers again in Newzroom Afrika. I think we're happy that we're refocusing and we are reorganizing ourselves again to implement the manifesto of the African National Congress. And I think in his acceptance speech today, I think we'll have picked up that the issue of service delivery becomes quite very key for us. As the Northwest, as you know, that most of municipalities are non-functional. The provincial government is still under Section 100, meaning that there are still challenges in the provincial government. And therefore, we must never lose sight of looking at priorities, areas that we want to focus on. And I think issues of service delivery, water, roads, job creation, to build the economy of the province become quite very critical areas of interventions. And we expect, obvious, that for Comrade Bushi, together with the collective that is going to be working with at the level of ESCO, including the role that must be played by oversight of the legislature, will definitely focus their energy around what the ANC has made a commitment on. And that commitment is a partnership that we have made with the people of the Northwest, that the ANC will deliver on the following services that we have just outlined, including making sure that we stabilize and rebuild municipalities that have collapsed because of the previous system that was created that has really not helped the people of the Northwest. So this intervention, it's meant not only on service delivery, to strengthen government again. Because yes, we have just said that we are working on building the organization, uniting the organization. On the other side, the government is weakened, and he has that responsibility, therefore, to drive the process of stabilizing government and building a very cohesive and very strong government that is able to respond to all of these challenges that we're confronted with at the level of providing services to our people.
So, Mr. Chauke, I mean, for him to succeed, for Bushi Mape to succeed, he is going to need the full support of the ANC in Northwest. Can you promise him that full support up until the next provincial elections in 2024?
Yeah, no, I think that is very fundamental and very key, because, I mean, look at, if we do not have a good relationship between government and I mean, the ANC as the party, and government led by the ANC, that relationship does not exist. It really creates a problem, because our role at the level of government is to give them support, but again is to make sure that there is implementation of what government has said it will do for the people of the Northwest, right? The manifesto of the ANC becomes a very important document. We have a responsibility from the side of the party to make sure that we deal with issues of water, we deal with issues of roads and all of these other issues, and to build the economy again. The ANC plays an important role there, and that relationship is what is very important. And this is what I think at some point led to the failures of the previous government under Comrade Job, where you find that the relationship between the party and government is very weakened, does not exist, in fact, and that creates unnecessary tension. Without us having to micromanage government, there must be a cordial relationship between what government is doing there and how the ANC must help the government to achieve what it's set to achieve.
Levy Ndou, I mean, do you think Bushi Mape can rely on the ANC in Northwest's full support for the next 3 years? Do you think he can rely on that?
Yeah, no, we're committed. I think
I'm sorry, Mr. Chauke. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was a question for Levy Ndou. I'm asking him essentially to comment on what you've said, Mr. Ndou, if I may. I am going to ask you to comment. I know the two of you know each other. Do you think we can believe Hlomane Chauke when he says that the ANC in Northwest will fully support the new Premier for the next 3 years?
Well, good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon to the viewers, Mr. Chauke. Indeed, you expect the ANC and their deployees to have a cordial relationship which is based on trust, which must, at the end of the day, deliver to the citizens as expected. The Northwest Province has had a lot of change of leadership, which has a potential to negatively affect service delivery. The citizens of the Northwest are the ones who some years back marched and banned infrastructure because they were not happy with service delivery. The ANC in the Northwest brought in an individual, and in the name of Professor Mohoro, believing that things are actually going to change. And the same ANC has actually removed that individual and replaced him with another one. I think there is one big challenge that the ANC has to deal with. Maybe the challenge is the inability to identify the right people who must actually deliver as expected. The manifesto of the ANC is very clear in terms of service delivery and responding to the needs of the people on the ground. If there is constant change of leadership, which is not influenced by people outside the party, which is actually being observed by the party, and then a decision is made to change that leadership, it then talks to how or what are the strategies that are being used for deployment. In the sense that you don't expect the same party bringing in people and taking them out of office on a regular basis because they know that it has a potential to destabilize government. But also at the same time, you also need a party that must have a trust on their deployees, that if we've deployed people in government, they must be given sufficient space to do their work without necessarily interfering in their affairs, because that has a potential as well to create unnecessary tension. But I think now that I think the Northwest Province leadership of the ANC might actually be learning on a regular basis that the continuous change of leadership might not be good for the governing party. It also has a potential to portray a party that is in disarray and not organized. And I think it is time that those that are in power and those that are in the party should find ways and means to manage their relations in a manner that they don't negatively affect their public posture and indeed service delivery that is required by all the people.
Mr. Chauke, I think Levy Ndou is being very polite. Let me put the question to you directly. Are you going to stop the leadership merry-go-round in Northwest? Are we going to have consistent leadership there now?
Yeah, look, the challenges of leadership in the Northwest Province obviously date back some time, and the ANC always is trying to resolve those issues that are internal, hence the mandate given to the structure currently. And our mandate is very clear, central around key pillars of rebuilding and to unite the African National Congress, which is highly divided at some point, but where we're sitting in this rebuilding process, we're quite satisfied that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and to help stabilize government, because at the time that we came in, I've just alluded to the fact that most of our municipalities are non-functional, with challenges of service delivery, provincial government that is currently under Section 100. It's very important that we needed to build very strong, from the basic unit of the organization, strong branches of the ANC that can even hold councillors accountable at the level of councillors. each and every ward in the province, there's a branch of the ANC there. And there's a councillor who is the representative of the ward, and who are not accountable to anybody because there's no organization, right? So we have to start there to build this organization and look at the regional structures that we are currently building, and then we can then have a provincial conference at some point with a solid leadership that is elected by the structures of the ANC in the Northwest Province. So it's not a good thing, obvious, for the party to be chopping and changing, but as we confronted by these challenges, with a lot of work that is done internally to try to engage to resolve these issues to a point that the party come to a conclusion at some point to say, but we have tried everything, we cannot work, therefore the only solution we can do here is to remove this person and replace him. And even in the replacement, it's not just done for the sake of just doing it. We're now trying to look at what my brother has just said, to look at the caliber of people that are committed, comrades that are ready, comrades that understand the challenges that we're confronted with in the province, and allow them space, in fact, as my brother was saying, that allow them space to be able to do their work where they're deployed, but at the same time find a way of accountability to the party on these matters that they are mandated to go and do there and deliver service. When the pressure comes of failure to deliver service, normally people don't only go march to provincial government. They even come to the ANC office. You can see how many tires have been burning outside the provincial office of the ANC or regional offices of the ANC. It's because of that pressure. So it's very important that the party all the time must be giving support to the structures of government at the level of municipalities, including the provincial government, making sure that we support our cadres that are deployed there. I believe that at the end, we will be able to find some kind of a permanent solution to the problems, and especially with the mandate given to the IPC. If we can fulfill what the national has deployed us to do, we can sit back after we have gone to a conference and said we have done it. We have built a solid organization in the Northwest. Branches of the ANC are functional. Branches of the ANC are, in fact, are the ones who are the champions for service delivery on the ground. Branches of the ANC are the ones that are holding councillors accountable and have a provincial structure of the ANC that can work very close with the provincial government in making sure that the service delivery is happening across the province. I think we're getting to that space. It has not been easy, but I think slowly we can see that the blocks that we're building on a daily basis are sort of beginning to bear the fruits for us.
Khomane Chake, coordinator of the ANC's Interim Provincial Committee in Northwest, and Levy Ndou, the political analyst. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your time. Time now.